Hello and welcome back. In this video I will be showing the rest of the operations that we can cover in this video, for example like check balance. So let's get started. So now case 4 we need to implement, which is check balance. We'll pass the scanner object again over here, break it. Now let's implement this method. Here what we'll do is we'll ask for account ID to check balance. Here I'll get the account ID. Now again we will establish the connection with the database. And we will then introduce the catch clause. We will just log the exception trace. Now let's prepare the SQL, which will be to select balance from account where account ID is this. Now let's prepare the statement. Say, and now populate the variable for a query, and we'll simply just execute the query. Now if this result set is present, then that means account is present, else we can say account not found, and if it is present then we'll say result set on get double, since account is on double data type. Say balance, and we'll print current balance is balance, right? So now let's run our program. Let's say if I go and try to check balance for an account ID which does not exist, for example like this, it will say account not found, because in our database if you see we have these many accounts only. Now let's say if I want to check account balance for account number ID 1, so let's say 4 then 1, and see this is the current balance for account ID 1. So that's how we have implemented check balance. Now let's say if I want to transfer some money from one account to another account, for which we need to implement fifth method, that is transfer. So we'll introduce a new case over here. We'll say transfer scanner break, then we'll say enter sender account ID, and we'll say scanner dot next print this is sender ID, we can say. Then similarly receiver account ID, and we'll have receiver ID. Now the amount I want to get the transfer, enter amount to transfer. Now here we will have the amount which will be nothing but a double. Okay, now again we will establish a connection with the database. Get the catch clause in place, the exception trace getting printed. And now first here what we will do is we are currently not committing anything to database. Now post this we will have balance query to select the balance from account table where account ID is this. Now I have a prepared statement. In the prepared statement I will set the sender ID. Who wants to send? Does they have the appropriate balance or not? Post that, I will just execute the query. Now if the result set is present, then that means they have the sufficient balance. Otherwise I will say okay, I will say the sender is not found basically. Right, now if the result set is present, then we'll find the get double balance will be red, right? And then if let me say this as sender balance. If sender balance is greater than equal to the amount that he wants to transfer, then it is fine. Otherwise we'll say insufficient balance and we'll roll back the transaction. But if the amount is present, then we need to prepare an update query. Say update account set balance equal to balance minus this. First we need to deduct the let me say this as deduct SQL. So here I will pass only the amount that I want to deduct from the balance and from which account, the sender's account, and then we'll just execute the update. Right, this is one thing. Next will be to add. So we'll say update account. In here things will be almost same. We are adding the same amount but to the receiver, and then we'll just execute the update. Now the transfer has been done, but this transaction has to be locked, right, for both the accounts, sender as well as receiver, so that it will be visible in the transaction of both the account holders. So now let's prepare the sender transaction, insert into transactions. That's the correct table name, transactions. Yeah, transactions, account ID, type, and amount, values, connection dot prepare statement, this. Now populate the variables, that is sender ID, and string will be let me check what I have in the second thing, in the transaction table. This will be transfer only. This. And third will be to send the double, that is amount, execute the update. Similarly, I have receive a transaction. Same query almost. Dot receive a transaction with repeat statement. This is deposit, this is amount, execute, this much. And when all these are done, then we'll say commit. That's why we had the auto commit as false, because we want to do the commit manually. After this, we will say transfer successful. Now let's run this thing. So now first let's check if I want to transfer from account 2, which has a 0 balance account, and receiver amount is, let's say, 3. I want to transfer 100. We'll say insufficient balance, which is correct. Now let's say if I want to transfer from account 1 to 2 and I want to transfer 100, this will say transfer successful. So earlier it had 540 and second account John has 0. Now let's refresh. So from 540 we have transferred 100 to John, so the balances are updated. Now let's check the transactions. So now here are 2 transactions. The transfer happened from account ID 1 of 100 rupees, and there's a 100 rupees deposit in account ID 2. So these are the 2 transactions that we have logged. That's how the transactions are created in this table. Now the last part which is remaining of this particular system is to view the transactions. Let's implement that as well. So we'll say operation 6 I have to implement, which is view transactions. Passing scanner, break. Okay, so one has to select the account ID to view the transactions, right? We have the account ID as input, get the connection from the database, and the catch blocks. Now we'll say string SQL select type amount and timestamp from transactions table, where account ID is question mark, order by timestamp in descending order. Right? We want to see the transactions from latest to oldest, right? That's why we have used this order by clause. Now let's prepare the statement, send the account ID over here and execute the query. If result set is present, then only we will show the transactions. So I will get type is a get string, next is dot get double amount, which is amount, and then set dot get string again, that is timestamp. Now I will print type account. Let's say on this. Let's run this program. I want to see transactions for 2. And one column timestamp. Okay, we have creation date basically, not timestamp. So we'll come here. So this is the one transaction that happened on account ID 2. So that's how the transactions will be visible to us. Let's see for account ID 1, this transaction has happened. So that's all for this video. Thank you.